Central Pennsylvania stretches across a staggering 30,000 square miles. That's over 60% of the entire state, and larger than countries like Jamaica or Qatar. And yet, this vast, rugged, and hauntingly quiet land has earned a curious nickname. Pennsylvania's Big Empty. No crowded highways, no towering skylines, just forested ridges, quiet valleys, and small towns tucked between the mountains. From the outside, it might seem like no one lives here at all, but that belief, while common, is not quite true. Central Pennsylvania is populated, just not in the way most people expect. Here, population is spread thin, and the growth is slow, very different from the busy cities on the state's edges. Take Centre County, for example. It's home to more than 158,000 people, with a population density of nearly 143 per square mile. Quiet, yes, but far from empty. And while some towns may seem forgotten, others like Harrisburg, Lancaster, and Altoona serve as vibrant hubs of life and work in the region. The truth is, central Pennsylvania's population story is shaped by old industries, tough geography, and modern challenges. And it's still being written today. Even international migration now plays a surprising role, helping balance the shifts in births, deaths, and people moving away. So why does this enormous region still feel so empty? To answer that, we have to look deeper into the land, the past, and the lives that have quietly held on. Geography and topography. The geography of central Pennsylvania has played a powerful role in shaping who lives there and who doesn't. Much of the region is made up of the Ridge and Valley region and the Allegheny Plateau, both part of the Appalachian Mountains. These areas are filled with steep ridges, deep valleys, and dense forest, which make it hard to build large cities or straight roads. Farming is also limited here. There's not much flat land for big fields like in other parts of the country. Unlike Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, which grew along big rivers, central Pennsylvania has no major navigable waterways that helped early towns grow through trade. The Susquehanna River runs through the region, but it's shallow and winding and never supported the same kind of boat traffic or industry. Because of this, the region didn't become a major hub for business or shipping in the way other cities did. Still, central Pennsylvania had value. Rich deposits of coal, timber, iron, and natural gas supported mining towns and industries for many decades. But once those resources were used up or replaced, the rough terrain and limited access made it hard for new industries or new people to take their place. History. Long before factories or coal mines, central Pennsylvania was home to Native American tribes like the Lenape and Susquehannock, who built strong villages and used smart farming methods along the rivers. In the 1600s, this land saw explorers from Sweden, the Netherlands, and England, each trying to control the region before it finally became part of the British colonies. When William Penn founded Pennsylvania in 1681, he welcomed people of many religions and built a peaceful colony. But after his death, that peace with native tribes slowly fell apart. During the 1700s and 1800s, central and western Pennsylvania grew fast because of one big reason: natural resources. Coal, iron, oil, and timber were everywhere. Towns grew around mines, railroads, and sawmills, and people came from all over Europe to work underground or in factories. By the early 1900s, places like Luzerne and Schuylkill counties were booming with thousands of miners and steelworkers, powering America's growth. But after World War II, everything started to change. Cheaper steel from overseas, new machines, and fewer coal jobs hit these towns hard. Some towns slowly emptied out. Others, like Centralia, were nearly erased, especially when disasters like underground coal fires made them unlivable. In the end, the very industries that once built central Pennsylvania also made it vulnerable. And when they disappeared, many communities never fully recovered. Economic landscape and opportunities. After the fall of coal and heavy industry, central Pennsylvania had to find a new way forward. Today, the region has built a more balanced economy, one that includes farming, healthcare, education, manufacturing, and even advanced technology. Big employers like Penn State University, Geisinger Health, and the state government help keep the local economy steady. But unlike the giant factories of the past, most businesses here are small, with fewer than 100 workers, making up 98% of all companies in the region. These smaller businesses bring stability, but they don't bring huge waves of new people the way the coal mines or railroads once did. New industries are growing too. Central Pennsylvania is becoming a hub for robotics, artificial intelligence, and clean energy. Thanks in part to research at Penn State. It's also a top producer of natural gas, and the state is investing in low-carbon energy like hydrogen and carbon capture. Farming still plays a strong role, with Pennsylvania known for its dairy, food processing, and agriculture innovation, backed by state programs like the PA Farm Bill. But with an aging population and fewer young workers, the region's future may depend on training new talent and welcoming immigrants, who are already filling key jobs in farming, manufacturing, and healthcare. Infrastructure. Central Pennsylvania may have strong highways and rail lines for moving goods, but many towns still lack the basic services people need to live well. The region is crossed by major highways like Interstates 80, 81, and 99, and there are big projects underway, like the new Central Susquehanna Valley Highway, meant to boost travel and trade. Rail access is also solid, with over 200 miles of freight lines helping local industries stay connected. But even with all that, transportation alone isn't enough to keep people living and working here. Public transit is limited, especially in small towns at Mamosio, and for seniors or folks without a car, getting around can be tough. This lack of basic services makes it hard to attract new families or keep young people from moving away. So, even though the roads are being built, the kind of life people want to build around them is still missing in many places. Healthcare access. Many towns in central Pennsylvania also faced another serious challenge: healthcare access. In many rural counties, there's only one primary care doctor for every 500 people, more than double the patient load doctors have in cities. That's because most physicians choose to work in urban areas, where hospitals are larger and pay is more stable. In fact, only about 10% of doctors in the U.S. work in rural towns, even though rural areas are home to more than 20% of the population. On top of that, many small-town doctors are nearing retirement, and younger doctors aren't taking their place. This has led to more hospital closures, at least 26 across Pennsylvania in just 5 years, with 12 more at risk of shutting down soon. When a hospital closes in a rural area, it's not just a health crisis. It's also a hit to jobs, emergency services, and even local pride. Some communities are now called healthcare deserts, places where basic medical help can be miles or even hours away. For many living in central Pennsylvania, this lack of care makes it harder to stay on and even harder to come back. Internet access. Along with healthcare, broadband internet has become another essential service, one that many people in central Pennsylvania still struggle to access. In today's world, internet isn't just for streaming or email. It's needed for healthcare, school, jobs, and small businesses to grow. While big cities enjoy high-speed connections from providers like Verizon, Fios, and Xfinity, many rural areas are still left behind. Some homes can't get internet at all, and others must rely on slow, expensive, or unreliable service. That digital gap makes it harder for kids to do homework, for patients to attend telehealth appointments, or for workers to apply for remote jobs. In places like Center County, local leaders have created a broadband strategic plan to close these gaps. But it takes time, funding, and partnerships to build new networks across miles of rugged land. Until then, many small towns remain disconnected, both digitally and economically. For families or young professionals, that lack of reliable internet can be a big reason not to stay or not to move in at all. And like healthcare and jobs before it, internet access has become another line dividing growing communities from those still falling behind. Current demographic trends and future outlook. While much of central Pennsylvania has struggled with decline, recent population numbers show a more complex story. Between 2020 and 2024, Pennsylvania's population grew slightly by just 0.6%, or about 75,800 people. But this growth didn't come from more births or people moving in from other parts of the U.S. Instead, it came from international migration, with 200,000 people arriving from outside the country, helping to make up for a natural decline, and nearly 50,000 residents who moved away. In central Pennsylvania, some counties near cities, like Cumberland, Adams, and York, are growing slowly, thanks in part to this international arrival and their closeness to urban areas. Others, especially rural and farming regions, are still shrinking as older populations pass on and younger people leave for better jobs. This means the region's future may depend more and more on welcoming and keeping new immigrants who bring fresh energy and help balance out the loss. Local groups like the Central Pennsylvania Workforce Development Board are working to train workers, attract businesses, and prepare for an aging population with fewer young people to replace retirees. The big picture is clear. Natural growth and domestic migration are no longer enough. And Central Pennsylvania's path forward may rest in how well it can support and include people from around the world. Central Pennsylvania covers over 60% of the state, yet holds only a fraction of its people. That's not by accident. It's the result of tough geography, limited transportation routes, and a history built on extractive industries that didn't last. Without navigable rivers or flat farmland, this region couldn't support the same kind of dense cities as Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. And when coal and timber declined, so did many of the towns that depended on them. Today, population growth here is slow, shaped by aging residents, outmigration, and a growing reliance on international newcomers. Broadband gaps and rural healthcare shortages still make it hard to attract new families or businesses. But small cities, strong schools, and local efforts are keeping parts of the region alive and giving it a chance to adapt. Thanks for watching. If you have a connection to Central Pennsylvania or thoughts on how places like it can grow again, let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore the stories behind the places most people overlook.